Welcome back everyone to Cruise class. Today we'll be looking at the final property of angles and straight lines. And this property encompasses many different rules: corresponding, alternate, and interior angles. How we can identify them and how we can use them to solve different geometry questions. Now, first of all, it's the notes for you. Now, when two parallel straight lines are cut by a traversing line, the corresponding angles are equal, the alternate angles are equal, and the interior angles are supplementary. Now, what do we mean when two straight parallel lines are cut by a traversing line? Now, here we have two parallel lines, one here and another here. Parallel lines mean that they will run beside each other and they will never ever cross. So you have two parallel lines and now they are cut by a traversing line. So one line intersects both of them. So we have our two parallel lines and we have another line crossing both of them. When we have this property of angle and straight lines, what will happen is all the corresponding angles will be equal, all the alternate angles will be equal, and all the interior angles must be supplementary. And we learned before that supplementary means two angles that add up to 180. Now let's look and we will identify what the corresponding angles are. So corresponding angles are angles that are in the same position on the other side. So A is in this position here. E is in the same position that A is in, but on this side. So A and E would be corresponding. B and F would be corresponding. D and H would be corresponding. And C and G would be corresponding angles. So all angles that correspond must be equal to each other. So therefore, A must be equal to E, whatever that value is. And the same is said for alternate angles. Now, how do we identify the alternate angles? Now, let me give you a hint what I usually use. If A corresponds to E, okay, E is opposite to G. So therefore, A and G are alternate angles. If you have D, for example, D as in dog, D corresponds to H. However, the opposite to H is F. Therefore, D and F are alternate angles. In Jamaica here, when we were learning this, a lot of us learned this as the Z angle rule or the Z angle rule. Whereas you can see here, a Z is formed. And when the Z is formed, the alternate angles are equal. But really and truly, the rule name for it is, or the ruled name for it is, the alternate angles must be equal. And let's try another one. C is corresponding to G. G is opposite to E. So therefore, E and C are alternate angles and they must be equal. Now as for the interior angles, we have D and E are the interior angles. And what did we say about the interior angles? They must be supplementary, meaning they must add up to 180. So therefore, D plus E is 180 degrees. And also C plus F must be 180 degrees. So this is what happens when we have two parallel lines cut by another line. Once more, all the corresponding angles must be equal, all the alternate angles must be equal, and the interior angles must be supplementary. So as you can see here, it coincides with the information here. You can pause the video if you need to look and just check back over. So in summary, when two parallel lines are cut by a traverse, corresponding angles are equal, alternate angles are equal, and interior angles are supplementary.